Well, good morning, community. Welcome to Stroke of Genius Show Survivor Experience. Have I got a real special guest for you? He's a friend of mine. I've known for about over a little over a year. And I have watched Jeff Roberts life transform before my eyes. I mean, literally. I have seen him go from stroke survivor to thriver to like a totally different person. So I wanted to bring him on camera. So Jeff, well, let's bring Jeff on here in just a minute. But I think you're gonna really enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Stroke of Genius Show Survivor Experience. Now, here's your host, Aaron Avila.
Mr. Jeff Roberts.
Oh my gosh. Good morning. Thank you for that warm introduction here. And that was pretty amazing.
You're awesome, bro. I am just so happy. And I can't wait to jump right into your story. So let's get into it. I'm going to cover kind of your stroke survival story, but then I want to get into where your life is going because it's been absolutely amazing, bro.
It, it,
Really.
it really's been an amazing ride, man. And
Yeah,
I'm
I can't imagine. Honestly, I can't imagine. So, when did you first have your stroke and how old were you?
well, I had my stroke on Good Friday of 2018, just right before that Easter. And I'm not going to get into a lot of the backstory, but it involved a lot of unhealthy choices, drug use, alcohol abuse, just life stress, everything all culminated into one, and just really hard living. And I had my stroke, and like a lot of other people, I was in denial. I didn't know I was having a stroke when I had it. So I waited 36 hours plus before I went into
Oh, no. So what were you doing at the time when you had your stroke? What
lots and lots of meth
I
and working.
that's not what I meant, but that's okay.
I mean,
Well,
uh,
well,
if I'm being honest with you, I literally thought that I was coming down at the time because I had been on a run and just the of drug use and drug abuse, eating SpaghettiOs and Little Caesars pizzas, and just basically hard living. I was breaking concrete that day, and I was out using the jackhammer. I mean, I had it in my sleep. I woke up. I was angry. Um, I mean, there's so many people out there that have this same story that hard living, not caring, didn't really care if I lived or died, didn't just terrible, terrible way to live life. And that's what I did.
so I'm curious, you just said you did what most people do, except you had to breathe. You thought you were coming off your meth. And I experimented with meth in my younger days, but you thought you were coming down and didn't go in the hospital 36 hours. Um, so, so I'm curious, what did you feel like during that time?
Like always, I was, whenever I would come down after being up for a few days, you feel spacey, you feel trippy, your eyeballs are kind of rolling around, you feel out of yourself, but on the outside, kind of looking in, down on yourself, kind of surreal, like cartoonish, kind of like tripping on, mushrooms or something weird like that, and yeah. So, I mean, I didn't go in. I went home. I remember I went to work all that day and I drove myself around, even though my one side was getting more and more paralyzed. Um, I remember I went home and I picked up a fried chicken and a Smirnoff ice in a can. I went and I ate that whole fried chicken, drank a couple tall cans, went to sleep, and just said, if I wake up in the morning and I'm not feeling good, I'm going to the hospital. And that's what I woke up. My whole right side was paralyzed at the time.
That is that is amazing, bro. I mean, here, I most people do that. Whether they're on drugs or meth or whatever, but most people brush off the symptoms of stroke. They brush it off. I can't be having a stroke. How old were you?
Let's see, I must have been 42
Yeah,
at the time.
yeah. So you about like me. I mean, who had a stroke at 40 some years old? And brushed it off. You know, mind?
But I mean, I had an ischemic stroke, not saying that there's any kind of good stroke, but compared to a brain aneurysm or an AVM or some other physiological disease, my stroke probably could have been prevented. My stroke was probably 100% preventable if I
Right.
had made the necessary changes that I had made in my life, like diet and exercise and not abusing drugs and not drinking all the time and not smoking cigarettes and, like just little things that I think the ischemic strokes or the blockages that way, 90% of the time can be avoided. And that's why it's important to bring this um, awareness to the community that if until you have this stroke, you don't think about it. But once you have it, oh, shoot, life's changed.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're no longer the person that you were before. I mean, even if you come back like I did, and I don't have many physical deficits, however, the mental deficits that I have are still there. And we have to work hard every day to improve those, And as weird as it sounds, what I've found in the last year, and because the stroke wasn't my turning point in making my life turning my life around. I mean, after my stroke, I still continue to drink, I still continue to use, I still continued um, praying and hoping and for another stroke because my life was so bad. Like I just continued using and abusing, and for the better part of 3 years after my stroke.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, let's give a shout out to juniors out there, and
Ooh,
we, well,
happy birthday.
let's give him a shout out. Of course, him being a stroke survivor fucked out the candy island, but he says, "What's up, Stro?"
It's What's up, Stro? Happy birthday, man. He's also Junior is also a co-host on our comedy podcast that we have weekly, Strokes of Humor. Um,
Tell us how to find it. How do we find it?
you can find it through our on YouTube, Strokes of Humor channel, or also we have a comedic healing channel um, group that's in Facebook that's dedicated to the darker side of recovery and helping stroke survivors or people of any trauma just laugh. If you can make one person smile and forget for a minute that that life isn't always rainbows and lollipops, then so sometimes to get out of that mindset, I think you need to laugh and laugh at ourselves and laugh at our situations. And that's why, thanks to you, Aaron, we created Strokes of Humor based on your show when I was on here a year ago. So I got to give you props that you put all that together. And even though we have separated our ways with Stroke TV at the time, I have to give you your due props for all that. You know what
I
I mean?
appreciate that. I appreciate that. I want to encourage you, but now everybody knows we first, I just didn't have time to put into it. But I think 100% correct. People need to laugh. I mean, if we can't laugh at ourselves, we're gonna really get depressed. So better off to laugh. And we both know laughing at Junior is easy. So, well, just kidding, you, Junior. I heard you wish him happy birthday today. So it is his birthday.
It's also another friend of Strokes of Humor and a friend of ours, Catherine Alyssa. For those of you who don't know her, it's her birthday as well. No, she's not a nun, but she sounds like it with a name like Catherine Alyssa.
Yeah.
But just to do shout out to that, and I also have one more shout out to your new bring on board, Stroke Surviving the Odds, SSTO.
Oh, yeah.
My good friend Karina Lemire and her
Oh,
channel.
yeah.
It's like I'm very excited for this channel to come through Stroke TV Media and for her and her podcast to excel because the work that she is doing in the field is kind of amazing. And I just really respect what she does. I mean, I respect everything that everybody does. Brent Calhoun, I was on his show. Although we had some technical difficulties, I did my best to type through. Um, I like the NLP aspect that he brings into it, because I'm walking living proof that if you change your language, you change your narrative. If you change the way that you talk to yourself and to other people, your life will change, and I I changed the way that I talk to myself. I no longer call myself a dirty drug addict. I no longer call myself, an alcoholic. I no longer called myself any of these things that get trapped in survivor mode. I mean, if you don't realize that you have to talk gentle to yourself, and when the more gentle you talk to yourself, then it becomes a reality. And what you ruminate on is what you manifest. So if you're just always thinking like, oh, um, I can't do anything. I can't walk. I can't move my arm. Nobody's going to love me. Nobody's going to like me. I'm not the same person. You get trapped and caught in that depressive state of mode. And then it just keeps going around full circle, full circle, full circle. So I mean, I actually believe that, that you changing the way that you talk to yourself and the way that you think and the way that you perceive things, is actually fundamental in recovery. No matter if you can move or you can't move, or you can walk or you can't walk, or whether you're in a bed or, the freedom, like I said before, the freedom that you're looking for exists in between your ears and not outside. Happiness comes from inside and not from outside. And I know that there are a lot of people out there that are bitter and don't buy into it. I mean, that's where my theory of 77%, which I have tattooed on my arm, comes into. I got into it the other day. My theory of 77% is this, Aaron.
Please.
I, I, when people say I want to keep it 100, or I'm keeping it 100, or can you make it back to 100% from where you were, in your recovery, a 100% recovery. And I think the best anybody is ever going to do, or at least for me anyway, is 77%. If I can make it 77%, I consider that like a good win. I'll tell you why. So use it like if you're charging your phone. Okay. If you charge your phone, you plug your phone in and it reaches 100%, what do? You unplug it so you don't overcharge it. The same happens when you reach a goal. Like if you reach 100%, what else do you have above 100%? There's nothing else. You can't give 110. You can't give 120. That's a fallacy. So at 77%, that gives me 23% buffer either way. Sometimes I make it to 80%. Sometimes I might be at 69%. It doesn't really matter what percentage you're at during the day. It just gives you a reason to keep going and keep striving and keep dreaming and keep moving and keep pushing forward. If you reach the top of a mountain, you have only one way to go. Down the other side. You can't go any higher. I mean, unless you learn to throw yourself to the ground and miss. I mean, that's flying. But, if you reach the apex, you come up at 100% at the top. Where are you going to go? You have nowhere to go. So, I mean, if you always climbing, that mountain gets bigger, and then you always climb, and keep striving, keep pushing, keep trying to do more, be better, live better.
Jeff, I get for the evidence I've known Jeff for about a little over a year. I feel like I'm talking to a totally different person. I'm sharp. The spiritual awareness that you've had. You talk about happiness is within. Stroke survivor, you need to hear this. Your happiness as a stroke survivor, your fulfillment in this life is not outside of you. Jeff is 100% correct. It's what stroke TV media tries to tell you. It starts from within you. It's between your two ears. It's not in that you move your left hand. It's not that you walk. Your happiness on regaining who you were. It's talking to yourself. Jeff, I cannot say thank you enough for everything and bringing it up. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, that's goes along with so many other things. I mean, that I've learned over this last year that have helped me transform nutrition, spiritually and physically. Um, if you don't eat your spiritual nutrition or get out of your head and, like put it to something bigger than yourself and realize that, we're all just these spiritual beings having an earthly kind of experience and not an earthly experience, an earthly being that has a spiritual experience. Everything is connected. But, I've come to learn that what you put into your body, whether it be spiritually or physically, is what you're going to get out of your body. I mean, I've changed my diet 100% completely to be an anti-inflammatory diet. I've cut out 90% of sugars, 90% of carbs, and just, I've lost 40 pounds in the last since January just by changing my diet and being conscious of the food that we put in, because the standard American diet is really no good at all. Not to harp on you or anything, but I mean, I see a lot of times that you post these awesome, really delicious looking.
Yeah, not anymore. I don't do.
But I mean, I used
Yeah,
to, but
I used to,
Oreo
Brent.
cookie this and Oreo.
No
No, those
more,
are all
Brent. All right,
so delicious.
all
I
right,
mean,
all right. I got to defend myself here. Brent Calhoun actually talked to me, actually encouraged me, and made me be aware of what it was doing. Now only post-stroke and heart-friendly food.
no, but so I mean, there are other delicious recipes that you can posts that aren't like those. I'm just saying. I mean, Brent Calhoun is also. We've had these discussions about nutrition and the importance of vitamins and vitamin deficiency, gut health. Gut health is really important. You know, um, I haven't smoked a cigarette in over a year. I haven't smoked pot in over a year and 3 or 4 months. You know what I mean? It's been over 2 years since I've done meth. Like uh I drink a glass of wine every now and again, maybe have a cocktail here and there, but not a daily, weekly drinker, just once in a while when we're out traveling or, on a special occasion when we might. And I mean, I got a full bar in my house, so it's not like I cut myself off completely. So I mean,
Well,
75 bottles of wine, I could just go crack any one at any time and get on it. So the question is, what keeps me from doing that? Do you know? I mean, like so many people in that are getting sober, and so many people I see come through the program are like, oh, I can't do this AA, I can't function. And I asked them the same question. I said, when do you become not a survivor? When do you become not an alcoholic? When do you move past the fact that if you always call yourself, like if you go to Alcoholics Anonymous and you're like, hi, I'm Jeff, I'm an alcoholic. Hi, I'm Jeff, I'm a drug addict. Then using those, changing your language, if you always say I'm an alcoholic or I'm a drug addict, then that's all you're ever going to be. So if all you ever do is say you're a victim, then that's all you're ever going to be, is a victim and succumb to whatever you are. And I mean, I know plenty of people. Keith Crusher Rush, friend of mine, wrote a book, The Crusher Experience, Keith and the Crushers, you know what I mean? And he self-published that. Jocelyn Barrett, another amazing human being. She has all her warriors. She's the warrior, and she's part of that TBI movement. But see, these are people who are living their best lives. You know what I mean? Despite what they go through, and despite who they are, and despite their, perceived disabilities, they're out there doing it, and they don't care. They don't care because in the end, nobody cares but you. I mean, when I look at Aaron, I don't see stroke. I don't see aneurysm. I just see Aaron, the cowboy. You know what I mean? That's
yeah.
and so I made so many friends. I look at Junior. I don't see Junior with his stroke. I just see my friend Wade Adams. He's another good friend of mine. Motivational speaker, doing great things with the VA and through the Veterans Association, and with his obvious disabilities. I don't know if you've been following this guy, but he's a powerhouse. He's walking on his own now without his walker. Like, he's really running the game. He's doing a good thing. His speech has gotten so much better because of,
Wow.
I'm just impressed with that guy. I'm so impressed with like so many of these people that are out here doing the things. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much life and so much love and so much sense of community and family within these walls or confines of this survivor thriver community, you know. And we're trying to branch out and push that out and let the normies, the people that don't know, find out, you know, that there is hope for you and that nobody is immune to this problem. You know, stroke happens like that, and when it happens like that, your life is forever changed.
Bro, if I was in a wheelchair, I think if I fall over, that was amazing. I felt like saying amen. But hey, I want people, everybody out there. Jeff has mentioned 5+ people. Stroke TV Media would love to give you a platform, give you a channel, build you a page like Jeff, Hernandez, get anybody that wants a channel to get out there and help people, help stroke survivors. I'm hoping Jeff's gonna work with me and get people going because you mentioned some of the people that inspire me, and I just don't have time to go after them. But if you could be willing, Jeff, to get them, let them know they come here and they can have their own channel, and anybody that has a channel on Surgery V Media, as it gets put on a live streaming service called Wonderful Living Television. And it really is an opportunity. So you mentioned some of the powers that I love that inspire me, and I don't have time to tell them. But thank you for bringing that up. That's really awesome, bro. You're amazing what you've done with your life. So I really want to focus little bit about talking to yourself, self-talk, because it really is about the reason I am the way I am. The reason you see me do what I do. It's because I talk to myself differently. The only reason I'm in a wheelchair, had a brain aneurysm, had a stroke. I'm full of deficits, but you know what? I love my life. I love helping stroke survivors. It's who I am. It's a gift God gave me. But I think everybody talks themselves negatively, or most stroke survivors I know do. But they can just, like you say, switch, turn, turn that self-talk on its head, change it. Tell me a little bit how you do it.
Um, you know, it's not an easy thing to do. It's really not. It's really takes a lot of dedication and you know and on an interpersonal level to talk to yourself good, especially when you're used to talking to everyone else bad because you're pissed off at the world. You know, you can't, there's no way you're going to be pissed off at the world and then talk to yourself like, oh, I love you. You're smart. You're beautiful. And then turn around and be like, you know what? Yo, God, bring me my ding, 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 ring the bell because, you want your food or you want your drink or whoever's helping you. You know, it also helps if you have a good support system. That either the kid, like you have Rebecca, like I have, if you have a loving support system, that helps the world too. But say you don't. I mean, we went through this. We had a whole, we did a show, you and I, a whole show based on these prayers that I told you that I say every day, and everything went all wackadoo on that show. And the audio, it was messed up. We had to jump out, so it never quite came to fruition on the Change Me show, but I emphatically do pray the Change Me prayers every day. Now I pray them with my wife, and I pray them by myself when I'm in the shower, or I pray them all the time. And they work like this: just something bigger than yourself. If you meditate, get out. It's just change me into whoever you want me to be, Lord, or whoever you pave the road, just change me into one who listens, and change me into one who loves. And these things take time, but they do change, they do work, they do come through. If you just say change me every day, you got nothing to lose by trying it. And so, of course, studying, like, as you start to change, like, when you change your perspective and the way you look at things, you know what I mean? The way you look at things changes. So when you change your outlook, at one time I stopped looking forward and just was only looking back at life. And today I'm looking forward. I have so much more to look forward to. I mean, I guess that's the old analogy of, you don't drive your car looking in the rear view mirror. That's why the windshield's so big and the rear view mirror is so small. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? Life is out in front of you and not stuck behind you. Yeah. And so change me is my biggest, it was my biggest asset to introducing change into my life. It's just asking for change. Whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God, or you believe in the universe or don't believe in the universe, or maybe you're just asking yourself permission to change yourself. Either way, I mean, I'm living proof that these things do in fact work.
So you're amazing, bro. What you've done with your life. And I could tell there's been absolutely, you're not even the same person I used to know. Why? Because you've changed the way you think. Dwayne Dyer, a very spiritual man, said, change the way you look at things. And things you look at will change. Let me take that story. Change the way you look at things, the way you think about things, the way you see things, and the things will begin to change your life from outside and that's what's happening to you, bro. It's amazing.
It absolutely has been a wild journey. I mean, uh, I when you knew me, I lived in California. Shortly after I was on your other show, I pretty much sold everything I owned, hopped in a car with the love of my life, and took off, and two suitcases like a Jack Kerouac, and moved out to North Carolina. I mean, literally, I left my daughter. She's in California. She's doing pretty good. But I mean, I literally got rid of everything in my house, got rid of everything that I own, um, packed my clothes up in a bag and split off on an adventure. And now I just have that yes man mentality. Do you want to do something? Yes. Do you want to travel? Yes. I try not to say no. Do you want to be on my podcast? Yes. You want to be on my show? Yes. You want to be my guest? Yes. You want to love yourself? Yes. It's kind of about saying yes instead of I can't, because I took I can't
Well,
out of it.
Jeff, yeah, just man, I hope you come back on because I can see us doing another show about this mindset because I'm big on that. But we're getting down to where we're almost out of time now. But if I should say, Jeff, what advice would you give a newer church survivor? What would you say to them, Jeff?
I would say don't give up hope. I mean, there is hope, like a mustard seed. We'll get into that later. Mustard seeds are small, and a little bit of hope and a little bit of faith comes from that. Just don't give up. That you know what, you're beautiful and you're perfect just the way you are. I mean, no matter where you are, that's exactly where you're supposed to be right now. And it's hard to accept and understand that, but don't give up hope. Don't, it, hope is cheap and hope is free and hope is easy. And so don't give up. Just strive to not give up. Hold on for one more day, because there's a reason you're still around, and I want to know that reason. A lot of people need to know that reason. Maybe it's so one person can hear you and be better because of it. Or you're not, our last breath is death. So it turns out that little E on the end is everything. So just remember to breathe and just keep on keeping on. Just, hope. Hope is important.
Jeff, what can I say is except thank you. Thank you so much for being
Uh,
there. Thank you for sharing it with us.
thank,
Appreciate it.
thank you for having me, man. I
All
really
right.
appreciate it. It's been fun. Um, I
Well,
look forward to.
definitely give me you or anybody you know, definitely kind of channels on stream email number. So I am, you are the epitome who I'd love to help. I know people, stroke survivors, and even the people that aren't stroke people need to hear this. They need the inspiration. Bro, I am so proud of you, what you've done with your life. I am, aren't you now?
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
All right. Well, I appreciate being here. Thank you so much for being here, Jeff. The show's over. So hope to have you back soon, right?
Yeah, let's set it up.
All
And yeah,
right.
people
All right.
come. We'll do
All
lunch.
right. All right, bro. Take care.
All right, you too.
All
Thanks,
right.
everybody.
Bye. Bye.